Hey everyone, for trichomes.com, I'm Ashley Manning, and this is Careers in Cannabis. On this show, we sit down with staffing agencies, cannabis companies, and other industry professionals to discuss employment opportunities in the burgeoning cannabis industry. Utah is one of the states recovering from the pandemic, but as of this week, there still are 33,000 unemployed there. And many people collecting unemployment are making more money than if they were physically working, making it harder to return to work. A thought that came to my mind was that maybe those who are struggling to return to work didn't enjoy their job to begin with. So if you are someone who is seeking a more exciting and rewarding career opportunity, the cannabis industry might be for you. And you're also in luck because today's guest is from Dragonfly Wellness, which was named the best cannabis company to work for. And they are in need of fulfilling 20 positions by the end of March at their Utah location. And on this episode, we talk with Isabelle Cooke, the Community Outreach Manager of Utah's first medical cannabis pharmacy, Dragonfly Wellness. Hey, Isabelle, welcome to the show.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here.
Well, it's great to have you here from Salt Lake City, Utah here. And weather's always perfect there, in my opinion. So
it's actually been snowing all morning, so probably a little different.
Just enough snow to cover the ground and make it pretty, right?
No, just enough snow to make it wet and dangerous. Maybe gray and ugly too once everyone drives through it.
No.
Hopefully more will come though.
Well, I'm glad we didn't have to drive to do this interview with each other then, so we're safe.
Me too.
So thanks for being here. I'd love to start with you and how long you've been at Dragonfly Wellness.
So I have been at Dragonfly for about 8 months now. We have been open only for a year as of March 2nd, so that's really exciting. I've been here for about 8 months. I actually started on our trim team back in the day in the summer, helping on the cultivation side, getting all of our flower nice and pretty for everyone. And as things progressed, I ended up getting my pharmacy agent card and kind of moving into the pharmacy side of things, and where I am now, which my official title is, in community outreach, but that pertains to a lot of things, including our employees who are part of our community and future employees as well.
Okay. What were you doing before? Have you always worked in cannabis, or what were you doing prior?
So I've not always worked in cannabis. I've been born and raised in Utah, and so, like I said, it's just been legalized very, very recently in the past few years, and we were the first pharmacy to open a year ago. So before that, I was doing something completely different. I actually would have never imagined myself working in cannabis, honestly, if you asked me about a year ago. But I was doing account executive work for a custom fabrication company, which entailed lots of different things. Basically, these guys I worked with could build anything you could dream of, and I would sell it. And so that was a whole big change for me. I was dealing with international clients, building newsrooms, and crazy stuff, and then came into the cannabis world, and it's been nothing but fun, honestly. So big change, but good change.
That's always good to hear. I know that one thing that people are struggling with is returning to work after having a year off work. And I think part of that struggle is because they actually didn't enjoy their job before the pandemic. And so if someone is really looking for an exciting career, cannabis is that. I don't think I've ever, 9 out of 10 people, if not 10 out of 10 people, enjoy their career in cannabis. So sounds like you're on that same path. So tell our listeners a little bit about Dragonfly.
Oh, Dragonfly. There's a lot about Dragonfly. So we have just been go since day one, legislation passing, medical cannabis being legal in Utah, being the first pharmacy to open. One really cool thing I feel for us is we're the little guys. We didn't get any big funds or big hands in our pockets to help us out. Even, some of the national guys that have come to Utah and opened other pharmacies, we're not associated with that. We're independently owned, woman-owned and minority-owned, which is a huge feat. Super exciting in any industry, but especially cannabis. And for me personally, I love that. But we're vertically integrated too, so we do more than just the pharmacy side of things, the storefront side. So we have obviously our pharmacy here in downtown Salt Lake City, which is going to be the urban central area of Utah, for anyone not familiar. And then we have a processing center where we package all of our own flower, vape carts, topicals, tinctures, do all of that, extractions. And that's about 15 minutes south from here in South Salt Lake. And then we have a cultivation center about 2 hours south. And that's where our farm is. And we grow our own flower and process it, harvest, trim, all of that is down there. So we have all of the levels of having a cannabis company. So it's really exciting. I think, again, we're one of the few people that actually have obtained that vertical license in Utah. So I think that's really what sets us apart, makes us unique as a cannabis company here, is that vertical integration and, so many other things. And I'd say, the biggest thing anyone should know about Dragonfly is we are patient first. We are all about our patients. We are all about bringing access to the community and education and everything like that. We want people to know they are empowered here. And that's Dragonfly's main mission.
That community is a big deal in Utah, the whole state of Utah, having that community. So I know you guys, we'll get into a little bit later. I know Dragonfly's involved in some community outreach programs as well. But let's chat about that in a little bit. So word on the street, though, also is that Dragonfly received an award for the best cannabis company to work for. What do you think attributed to that?
Yes, we did. So we actually just found out about this very recently. Cannabis Business Times does this award every year in cultivation and dispensaries, pharmacies, medical, recreational, just depends where you are. But we actually won both awards, third place in both cultivation and dispensaries. And what attributed to it, I think, is, we heard about it here on the marketing team and the community team, and we were like, this is really cool. But basically, the idea of what they're doing behind this is sending out a survey to employees and getting employee feedback. So we're like, hey, it's our first year open. We should find out where we can learn, where we can grow, where we can improve. What better way than asking our employees and having them submit an anonymous survey, And so they did it. And, to be eligible in that program, you have to have an 80% return. So if your employees don't respond, then you're not even going to be considered. So I think one thing that really attributed to it is our employees care. They actually responded. They filled out their surveys and they gave honest feedback. But I think, with all of us here, we have a common goal and a common mission. And, it's really, again, that bringing access to patients, bringing education to the community, destigmatizing the plant. So with our like-mindedness, I think all the employees have found a place of peace working at Dragonfly, knowing we're doing more than just, being a cannabis dispensary or cannabis pharmacy. We're doing more every single day, whether that's, contributing to our community outreach programs or just uplifting the lives of people who didn't know there's alternative medicine. So I think our employees just giving their honest feedback and us as a company providing a place for employees to feel comfortable to provide that feedback is really what attributed to that, I suppose. Overall, I guess, yeah.
That kudos to you guys for making that. You don't hear too many people saying, putting out these awards, but we're an emerging industry. So I anticipate this coming about. But, as I mentioned a little bit ago, people aren't enjoying their jobs. And that's probably the reason for not wanting to return back to work. So having a place that cares and a place of peace, it sounds like somewhere I would want to work. Let's transition this conversation from being the best cannabis company to work for to what do you guys have available? I know you guys reached out because you have 20 immediate positions available needing to be fulfilled by the end of March. So what are those positions?
Yeah. So, like I said, as of March 2nd, 1 year open. Happy birthday, Dragonfly. We're super excited, but after a year, we've finally been able to see, what the reality of it is, what we're taking on and what we need to continue to sustain a successful, thriving business like we have been. And so, yeah, we are hiring. We have immediate needs, mostly in the pharmacy for what we call wellness associates. Legally, through the state, those are pharmacy agents. Some people, in other states and recreational states might be most familiar with the term bud tender, things like that. But it's the front lines, face-to-face patient interaction, point of sale, things like that. These people, though, also would have the opportunity to be a part of our delivery service if they have any interest in driving. So that's a big reason why we actually need so many hands, is because we are launching delivery, and that requires more bodies. So we're super excited. And that's where the majority of our positions would be open. We do have a few, of course, as well in our processing center and cultivation centers. Like I said, they're a little further away. So depending if you're willing to commute and you want to go join the cultivation team, be part of harvest and trim. I did it. I loved it, honestly. Super fun. I just also have other skills that need to be utilized. But so there's a few positions out there as well. And anyone, I would recommend just applying if you're interested, putting your foot out there. The great part about being in Utah is it's a brand new market. I mean, get your foot in the door now. Why not?
Right. Agree. And it's a beautiful state too. There's so much to do there and see. And I personally like the sense of community there. So I'm always intrigued by moving to Utah myself.
Well, come on down, Ashley. We have a place for you. I'll put in the good word to the big guy.
You know a guy, huh?
A couple guys, maybe.
What is Dragonfly looking for in those candidates? Is there a specific experience? What's that look like?
So, again, with it just barely coming to fruition in the state, we don't look for cannabis experience per se, because we understand you're either going to have to relocate or have relocated or have done it illicitly. And, that's fine. That's the reality of things in this industry. But no, we have no expectations for prior experience. We're honestly just looking for diversity in backgrounds and knowledge bases. We're looking for people that are curious, eager to learn. We all think we know so much about cannabis, but we're learning every single day. And we love those people who have things to bring to the table. If they have a little extra knowledge about something they want to bring to us, we're willing to learn. Just kind of that like-mindedness. And again, always seeing the bigger picture. It's not just about cannabis sales. It's not just about that. It's about the patients, about community, education, destigmatizing the plant, the industry, everything in between, because there's so much as far as that goes. But at the end of the day, like I said, when it came to our team winning these awards for Best Cannabis Company, it comes down to we all have created a space of positivity and uplifting attitude. So I think those are the biggest things we are honestly looking for, is that general attitude more than anything. And then, of course, determination. If you want it, you'll come get it, put that drive and go, and be a self-starter. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there, ask questions, bring new ideas to the table. That's why I love Dragonfly, They're always willing to listen and accept those new ideas, things like that. So definitely think, open mind. Whatever you got, bring it.
That sounds good. You mentioned Utah being unique in the way of dispensaries and pharmacies must have a pharmacy agent card. And I believe you also mentioned a processing agent card. Is that required in order to apply for the position?
No, it's not required in order to apply. I know Utah's system is actually very different than a lot of other states. I believe in most places, they open this up to people to be able to get these cards so they can go then apply. Here in Utah, you can't even try to apply for one of these cards without being employed by a licensed facility. So Gotcha. Ultimately, once you're offered the job, by Dragonfly or whatever company you might be working for in the state, it would be ultimately you'd be offered the job, and then you have to go through that process of obtaining your pharmacy agent card. And if you aren't able to obtain it for one reason or another, they do request background checks, fingerprints, things like that. Then at that point, we might not actually be able to hire you on, the job was offered, but if you can't be approved by the state, unfortunately, it's out of our hands. So I think it's a little different than other places, but, we do our best. And also with that, because you don't have to get the card to apply or anything like that, we reimburse our employees for obtaining that card to work for us, because if they didn't work for us, they wouldn't have to pay that expense. And for different tiers or levels of cards, again, it's going to be a different price. So we have to pay for our job. But Dragonfly is here to support people in that front. Processing agent cards are actually more expensive, so we will pay that cost up front, versus a pharmacy agent card is less expensive and will reimburse you for it. That's basically the concept with that. But it is a process, unfortunately, and that's all in the state's hands at that point.
Is it when you say a card, is it just going through a background checks, or is it an actual training, like you went through some sort of Cannabis 101 training? What is that process like to obtaining it?
So for obtaining it, you apply, submit all your general information, get the background check run. You have to be very proactive as far as getting your background check done, as well as your fingerprints, because it's on you to do that. As an independent adult, that's on you. So you have to be very proactive at doing that. And then once you're approved, they do require training, but a good amount of the training is actually just on-site training, on-the-job training. So that's where you will receive the training. In fact, it seems convoluted. They say, did you complete your training? Your training is offered by Dragonfly. So you got to start, but you have to have your agent card to start your training.
Understand.
It's a process, but it's worth it in the end, I promise.
Yeah, that seems like that would be the standard for all states, to have some sort of training before being able to deliver medicine or recreational product, however someone wants to phrase it. It just seems like having a 101 at least, or on the job training, should be required as a standard. Moving forward, we'll see though.
Yeah, and on the processing side, there was a little bit more like a slideshow kind of educational platform training. Again, there are different agent licenses, different cards, and so that is also just provided. We have a in-state in-house program, super easy to go through. You actually know Dane Hoffman. He competes with these programs here locally as well to offer cannabis education, so people can get access to these licenses easier, which is awesome.
But they do have to be currently employed in order to get them?
Yes. So basically, someone's going to go into the state system and say, I, Isabelle, want to apply to be a pharmacy agent. And then you have to select your facility. So then I select Dragonfly Pharmacy, Dragonfly Wellness Pharmacy, and then the state will email Dragonfly and say, hey, is this person really going to work for you, or are they just trying to get an agent card? And Dragonfly has to say, yeah, they really are going to come work for us. So.
Got it. All the process now makes sense.
Very convoluted, and it's a lot. It's the state.
It's going to smooth out. It'll smooth out over time as more states also get on board. It's just going to naturally fall into place.
Absolutely.
So let's go back to Utah and the community orientation piece of it. What types of community outreach programs does Dragonfly offer to staff and patients?
So we have a lot, staff, patients, and even just general community members. We have started an in-house glass recycling program for our cannabis flower jars, tincture jars, things like that. Basically, our patients can bring back their glass jars from any pharmacy. We don't care where it came from. It doesn't have to be ours. And we will recycle it for them and give them reward points. So there's a little incentive, but we're also saving the environment, because we know we did put out a lot of that trash, so we'll take it back. That's one big one. Our patients love it. We also do a community cleanup with our local women's shelter and clean up around the block every Thursday morning. Patients, non-patients, employees, everyone gets to join in on that one. Super fun, and it's like seriously the best way to start your day. You would not think picking up trash at 9 a.m. sounds fun, but I love it. I feel so much more zen every Thursday than I do any other day of the week. So that's a fun one. We also are launching our book club this week, so I'm super excited for that. It's an educational cannabis book club. Again, anyone can join. You don't have to be a patient. We would love if you are, but again, it's just about spreading that awareness, destigmatizing, education, all of that. And we're also a donation hub. So again, anyone can come to Dragonfly, drop off any donation. We do mainly wellness and hygiene products to be able to distribute back to our community. And we're also doing currently a focused blanket and water drive because, it's cold out there, so we need some blankets and anything. We've done food drives, but we'll take any donation and make sure it gets to the right resources and right people, right hands in our community. And that's been something that's been just growing vastly, and I love it. I'm super excited for that because we're stronger together and everyone needs help. I don't care if you use cannabis or hate cannabis. You need some water, you will get water from Dragonfly. That's just the way it is. And the last project I just want to briefly mention is we are working on a patient subsidy program, which will be handed off to our Utah Patient Coalition. And at that point, we are hoping to help subsidize part of the cost, if not all of the cost of people's medicine, as well as their medical card, because we understand it is not the most affordable. We don't want to hear people saying, I have to choose my medicine or food. So that's coming very, very soon. We're very excited, and we hope that gets a lot of traction as well.
Wow. And again, you said you guys are a small mom and pop pharmacy. You guys are doing more than some of the larger brands out there. So big kudos, and that makes sense why you are the best cannabis company to work for.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
It all makes sense. I've been in the industry for 5 years, and some of these larger dispensaries I've talked to, they're not doing anything in community involved. And so this is great. This is I'm happy that we're interviewing you and Dragonfly as well, because that's a company that deserves to be highlighted.
Oh, good. I'm so happy. So, these things are really close to home for me. Like I said, I'm actually the community outreach coordinator, so I oversee all of these projects, and it makes a huge difference. People come to our pharmacy realizing we're doing all of these things for other people, not ourselves, not, trying to do the quick money grab, make sure we get as much as we can out of these people. No, because they're our patients. This is medicine. It's not like that at all. And we understand some of the bigger guys will do that, and that's okay. But I think the sense of community does come from being locally owned, minority owned. When our owner moved to America, she had a lot of things to overcome, and without a sense of community, she wouldn't have been able to do that.
Right. Well, I look forward to the growth of Dragonfly. Are there plans? Are you allowed to share any plans for expansion?
There are some plans for expansion. I don't know how much I'm allowed to share, but I could definitely touch on the delivery side of things. With that, we are hoping to bring complete access to the entire state of Utah. So delivering as far as 5 hours down south, if need be, we will be doing that here sometime this year. And, opening closed door pharmacies, which are basically like storage facilities in which we can deliver out of. So we don't have to be going from Salt Lake or wherever to make these long haul deliveries. So that's one expansion I'm really excited to announce because, again, it's just bringing more accessibility to people. And a lot of our patients, are elderly or have other physical impairments in which it makes it hard to get your medicine, especially if you have to drive a few hours. So,
and Utah is very rural as well. There's parts, and you're right. Driving 2 hours to get their medicine is not ideal. When they have other options for pharmaceuticals to be delivered in the mail to them, and that's not an option for them in this scenario.
Yeah, so we're excited for that expansion because it will just make a huge difference. The amount of times I've spoken to patients from people down south in Moab or St. George, these areas are 2, 3, 5 hours away. For someone to have to drive that far to get medicine, it's ridiculous. And our market's growing slowly. Other pharmacies have opened in other locations, but we're all pretty much within 45 minutes of each other or less.
Wow.
So the concentration is really in one place, but again, it's a big state, a lot of people, a lot of rural areas without access. So that's something I'm excited for.
Great. I'm excited for that too. Or do Utah people have a specific name, Utahians or anything?
Utahns, like croutons.
Utahns.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, where can Utahns or other people who might be interested in relocating to Utah apply to Dragonfly?
Right online. Our website is currently dragonflyut.com. Do /career and then another backslash. It'll take you right there. I do know we are getting a new domain, hopefully here soon, so that might change. But if you just look up Dragonfly Wellness Pharmacy, SLC, go to our website. We're there. And all of those career opportunities are available on that page. So you'll see cultivation, processing, and pharmacy applications.
Awesome. Well, is there anything you would like to leave off with before we go?
I just want to say thank you for having me, Ashley. I want to say thank you for anyone who watches this, and hopefully, we get some good candidates in here because we're looking to grow. We're looking to build a bigger community together, and I'm really excited for what's to come.
Awesome. Me too. Well, thank you so much for your time, Isabelle. And I look forward to having you return when you guys are expanding either to other states or a new facility throughout Utah and getting those jobs up as well. So thank you again. My thanks again to Isabelle Cooke for being my guest on today's episode. You can follow our series, Careers in Cannabis, as well as more great shows like this one at trichomes.com. If you're a member of the cannabis community and you have a story you want to share, please reach out. You can reach the show by emailing careersincannabis@trichomes.com. Please take a second to subscribe to the podcast and write a review. It really helps others to find the show. You can also join in the discussion with industry insiders by visiting trichomes.com and following us on all social media. For trichomes.com, I'm Ashley Manning. Thank you for listening and be well.